So when you replace promotion with emotion, you essentially get a much more detailed caption out of your post, because you're going to write from the heart, and you're not talking at people, you're talking to them. So in a way you'll be able to push the marketing of your music further, your engagement will deepen, and when your engagement and you feel like people are listening, you're going to feel comfortable to post more, right? So I think there are a lot of different ways of doing that, and of course we want a level of quality with everything we're going to create, but there's also quantity as well. So if you imagine the 6,000 followers that you almost have, right? When you make a post, I'm going to imagine 2,000 of them will see the post, what's called an impression. An impression is when a post appears up in somebody's timeline, but they don't necessarily engage with it, it just appeared. So from 6,000 followers, you might get 2,000 impressions. From 2,000 impressions, you might get 200 engagements, likes, comments, saves, that kind of thing. From those 200 engagements, you might get 20 link clicks. So that's why that one post and a story is not enough. Because essentially, people to tap the link in your bio, go over to YouTube, go over to Spotify to listen to it. So in essence, you've gone from 6,000 people to 20 who actually heard it. So you have to post about it bare times until it finally hit home for different people.
Which is why I did with my EP kind of.
Okay, how did you approach that?
So we did a photo shoot initially, like we set up our own photo shoot, got all of the props and stuff ourselves, and it was a conceptual EP based around situationships and heartbreak.
Nice.
So we recreated that theme, and with the images that we shot in that shoot, we used those as promotional images to push the EP. Obviously letting people know like what to expect, what's coming.
Nice.
Kind of like what you're saying, we're talking on emotion. But yeah, I think it's also knowing how many images to post. Because if they all are under a similar theme or look kind of similar, you don't know how long your audience are going to tap into that.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
I've always felt this like battle between high production value and high storytelling value. So sometimes the image will look sick in a professional studio, colored backdrop and a nice camera, but it's just one person almost modeling for a camera, rather than the more storytelling led content, which is in the studio, which is holding the mic, which is writing out one with a nice fountain pen, or holding the mic and pulling it, the actual red mic, closer to you. I think there's ways to make an ordinary bedroom look really exciting. And you can easily dress up a space with some lights from Amazon, a nice ring light, or even like a cool backdrop. And you can invest in your home studio. So I think one of the things I actually talk about quite a lot is what I call an emotional magnet. So an emotional magnet is something that would really like tell a narrative through your music. Now obviously you guys, by respectfully saying, are all care experienced persons, right? So there's obviously a tenacity that comes with that. There's obviously a story and like a journey that you've been on. And I think it's so important to tell that narrative through your content without making it gimmicky, without making it like a desperation plea, but more so to try and like explain the journey that you've been on. And so only you will know the right language to use to tell that story. But I think you're separated from every other artist in the world, because they want to be an artist, sometimes for fame, sometimes for glamour. This is your only form of expression sometimes. This is the only thing that kept you going in a very hard period of your life, for example. So you need to really channel that through every post you make, every story you make, every caption you write, every tweet you do, you channel that emotion. And so it's not feeling like it's I'm trying to get you to listen to my music. I'm trying to share my art with the world. And by getting more people to hear my art, I'm changing lives. I think that's the angle you can take to make sure that your product reaches the masses, because you're trying to help people, right? So my grandfather originally, he was the most helpful man anyone ever knew, right? And I'm actually named after him. He was Aftab Hussain, and I am Ayaz Aftab Hussain, right? So I built my brand all about helping, trying to carry on that legacy, to help as many people as I can every single day. So for Rick, who obviously created this record label as a care experience leader for care experienced persons, you're passing that on to your next generation, and that is why, God willing, it will succeed. because you're mission led, right? And you guys are going to be mission led as well. The spoken word, and what's your style of music?
It's like dance music.
Okay. So is dance an expression of what made you happy during those moments of your life?
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to spread that to the world, hopefully.
I'm gonna try.
Yep.
You will.
You will. You will. Fingers crossed. So I think when I say an emotional magnet, that could be something like the emotion of having a heartbreak. Everyone's had a heartbreak. That heartbreak led you to start writing music, for example. That writing music led you to write a powerful song. That powerful song allowed you to find yourself. Finding yourself allowed you to go and start performing around the country. So an emotion became this trigger that had a domino effect that helped lots of people. So you should find one of these, whatever it is, and let it drive you every day.
So you like when Shakespeare has universal themes, like love, death, heart,
Yes.
things like that.
Yep. That's wicked that you think about it in Shakespearean terms. That's wicked.
Yeah.
So not just the theme, but also like a specific event. A specific event. Like, I have a lot of cousins. I'm the youngest of about 27 different first cousins.
Wow.
Big family, right? And they picked on me. They bullied me. So something that is a chip on my shoulder is trying to prove to myself that I'm not the uncool baby cousin. But I'm going to push myself to be one of hopefully the most successful in our family. So it's something that is in my mind. I don't tell many people, but it drives me every single day. So you just need to have one thing that you hold on to that as your guiding compass that takes you where you want to be. Right? And so this is why when I start talking about mindset, it's not about what time you post on Instagram. It's not about the hashtag you pick. It's about the narrative you carve in the background. So yeah, like I said, you've got the announcement post, you've got this kind of explanation of what your song is about. Then I think it's really important to have a countdown to your own release. And the way to do that is by making lots of different reels and lots of different TikToks performing your song. Right? So for the Super Bowl, they practice 6 months for a 20-minute performance. So I think we as artists sometimes we just do one performance as a music video of our song, and we think, oh, people have heard it. But actually what's a really contemporary trend on TikTok right now is them performing the song over and over and over and over again, different places, different outfits, different skits, and they often do a little bit of random speech at the beginning. So something like, don't you hate it when a girl hangs up on you and you want to just call them back and say, and then you start performing the song. Or something like, don't you hate that moment when you can't get a girl out of your mind and you want to just ring them up and say, and then you jump into the song. This is really trending right now on TikTok, especially when you can type out the lyrics as captions, and anytime there's an opportunity to replace a word with an emoji, that works really effectively. Like you'll see big captions in the middle of the video, kind of close crop, kind of head and stomach, and they're just performing a song in the house over and over again. Right? I think this is really effective. I do it with my clients too.
So you're saying, sorry, because I was just making a note. So you're basically saying like make the video and say like refer it to a time that they'll remember and then
Yes.
deliver it to the song.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Just a sentence or so, like that feels like random speech, and then begin performing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All good. More recently from my clients, we've actually been leaking the audio of the song before release day. So if the song came out on the 1st of September, the whole week of the 23rd to the 1st, I get them to perform it on Reels 7 times. So that it's almost like an earworm. You remember the lyrics before you've even pressed play on the real record. So I get them to do the chorus 2 or 3 times, then maybe a verse, then maybe the outro bridge, and then maybe like the intro of the instrumental right before the first word is uttered, and then we cut the video. So you get hooked on the instrumental. Slightly different for you, of course, I get that, but there's lots of different ways to get people addicted to a song before it's even out. Right? There's 2 ways of leaking the audio. The first is kind of complicated. You contact DistroKid and you give them like a 20-second snippet, You say, this snippet I only want you to release on Instagram Stories library and TikTok audio library. I don't want this snippet anywhere else. And you can do that, yeah.
Okay.
And then you say, and this full song, I want it everywhere except Instagram library and TikTok, because I've already got my smaller snippet there. I don't want a duplicate, right? I want the original one to have the most plays, not have split views between two, if you get me.
Yeah, yeah.
Very smart.
Right? So that's the more complex way of leaking it.
Does all the distro,
All of them.
they can do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
If you don't have that availability through the self-service platform, you drop them an email, explain what you want to do, and they'll help you with it.
Okay.
That's the easy way. That's the hard way. The
Yeah.
easy way is just to bake the song into your editing software, just have it in the video. It will say Rick Flow original audio.
Yeah.
But it's much more good for branding if you've got Rick Flow, If I Die Before I'm 25.
Yeah.
My favorite tune, by the way. Yeah, it's much better to have that as branding a week before the song drops.
Yeah.
Right? So there's ways of doing this. Right? So this is the kind of we've covered your announcement post, which I need to go into properly, the WHs, then you've got your audio teasers, right? The next thing I highly recommend is the night before your tune drops is to do an Instagram live listening party. Yours was incredible when you did that pirate radio station.
Yeah.
That was fire. I want you to bring that back. That was vibey. The whole night was just, I was gassed. I was so gassed that night.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And I never had seen anyone entertain the crowd, bar without making a mistake, and make it feel like it was pre-recorded and it was fully live. It was honestly the best thing I've seen in a long time.
Nah, bless, bro.
Yeah. So bring that back. So the night before your tune comes out, you should be the most gassed. Because if you're excited, your audience get excited for you. Right? And if you are timid and shy and not pushing the fact that your song comes out at midnight, fans won't care.
And what if you've got like an EP coming out? Would you just share one song?
So on an EP, typically I would do 3 songs individually released as singles, and then on the release day you're getting 2 bonus songs. I think it's hard to drop 5 songs in one day and expect all of them to get plays.
Yeah, of course.
Typically your song 1 will get the most, song 2 second most, third most, fourth most, fifth most. So I think doing an EP is an amazing journey, but the waterfall strategy of one single gets love, the second single gets love, the third single gets love, and you tell them on this full EP you're getting 2 bonus songs, 3 of which you've already heard. Right? So you kind of build your strategy around that.
Thank you.
All good. But this concept of like a listening party, of a launch party, I think have some fun with it. It doesn't just have to be you by yourself in your room. Call some friends over, roll up a blunt, pour a glass of wine, like do whatever it is you've got to do, and actually have fun for your own release party. I worked with one rapper who owned a water park. So he literally closed the water park and he literally had like 20 man there, 20 gal there, and he was having a wicked time. Yeah, no, but you get where I'm going, is that you can have fun. Call everyone over to your house.
Talk about Rick Flow brand.
And you put that on Instagram Live?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a gimbal like mine. He was just walking around with the gimbal between the party. He got in the hot tub mid-live.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was having a good time.
And he was blasting the music around
Yeah,
the water park.
yeah.
Of course.
It was closed for guests. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
his
yeah,
people.
yeah. Incredible.
Right? But think the things you could do if you have connections that you could borrow a space, you could borrow a location.
Hire out, what was it, Fort Park for his birthday?
Yeah.
Who did?
Stormzy.
That's
He
mad.
does that quite often. Yeah.
That's quite sick.
Yeah.
But what could you do? What maybe be some ideas you could do for your own listening party? Low key, of course, but what could you do maybe?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, you want
I'm
to
just
run
comparing
events,
myself.
so like.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wanted to do a listening party for my EP, but it didn't happen because lockdown happened.
Yep,
And
yep.
I was really keen to drop the project, but now I kind of regret it because I feel like we didn't drop it how I imagined we would drop it. And now it's been a year, so it feels like, oh, we can't do one now. It's been a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to just move on and keep it moving.
So you can make it a deluxe edition of an album by adding 1 or 2 extra songs, and then do a whole new campaign around it.
Interesting. Never thought about that before.
Yeah. You just need to have a reason to do what you want. Don't let anyone else say why you can't do it.
You can't do it, just think of the ways you can.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Because we didn't even get to do a video for it, really, which is sad, you know.
I've seen people hire out like a Pirate Studios room, and then they would like have an actual crowd of people there, and they'll play the tune and they'll wheel it up halfway through, then they'll play it back again. It's just a little box.
Yeah.
Pirate Room Studios are tiny, but they had 6 people crammed in there and made it into a listening party.
Yeah, of course.
So literally go crazy with that the night before. The goal is to get people at 1 minute past midnight, like the first song they search is you. That is the goal. They say there's 60,000 songs uploaded per day to Spotify. You have to stand out. So you got to get people's attention and make sure they are searching you. The algorithm's not going to recommend you. You have to actively make people consciously think, I'm going to go and search for this song. And that takes hard work, but it's definitely doable.
You mentioned about you're working with like there was one artist that was got anxiety or
Yes.
Yeah, I'm interested how does that artist promote their material?
Yep. So her name is Swati. Okay, so she's an Asian girl. She's from Greenford. She's late 30s, right? But she's very much like, I'm either in full makeup or I'm in my pajamas, right? So she felt a lot of pressure having to create content on the fly. And so I said to her, the way to face your fear is to make it as scary as possible in the situation. So in her pajamas, she did an Instagram live with no makeup on, and she sang a cappella for her entire EP. She sang the whole thing. And she had more likes, engagement, and story views than ever before. I remember it very vividly. I was at the mechanics, and she voice noted me the next day, crying, saying, Yaz, I've never had so much love, encouragement, and kind words. So she was terrified of doing the live.
Did she already have a following?
She had 13k that were inactive. They're like, you know what I mean? You have followers, but they're not showing love consistently. She had to wake them up. She had to give them a big shake and remember why they followed her. And so that was pushing someone. I didn't want to have to push her that far, but I did it just to show you had a community, you're not lighting them up with excitement. And she started doing...
And did she do any like pre-posts leading up to the live?
No, she just turned it on. A live, the benefit of a live is those who stay for longer, the algorithm shows it to more people. So if you begin a live and you say, waiting for a few more people to come on, waiting to get to 20 people, then we'll begin, people drop off because they get bored. If you begin immediately and you say, hi, I'm Rick, tonight I'm doing my EP release party, I'm going to perform it to you in 5 minutes, but first let me welcome everyone who's joining. You procrastinate, wait some time, welcome, hi Hira, hi Dee, hi Rick, hi da-da-da-da. Then you say, right, for those of you just locking in, I'm about to perform my song. Let me play you the instrumental first, so you get the vibe and you press play on the thing. And this is how more people are waiting, hurry up and perform, and they stay for longer.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Good momentum.
How often do you guys do lives at the moment?
Never.
Okay.
Okay, I did do a lot in lockdown, but I was kind of hosting my own open mics
Okay.
via my page.
So the Instagram live function actually pairs really well with the Instagram story function questions. So what you can do is earlier in the day, you can say, I'm going live tonight, submit random words to me and I'll turn them into spoken word or turn them into freestyles. Then as you begin the live, everyone who submits a question card you can actually tap through and you can bring it up on the screen as an interactive overlay. And so the word orange, alright, let me do a spoken word bit that brings in the word orange or rhymes with orange or freestyle with it or whatever it is, or bring it into a song. But there's certain ways to make the crowd advise what happens in the live, so they feel like, you picked my word, and they're like gonna get into it.
Yeah.
And then they tell their friends, like, I screen recorded this moment where Rick freestyled a word using my word, linked it into Hira's word, and then did that madness and did so many linkages.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yep, so from the Instagram question sticker into a live. It actually changes the symbol of the live from a red logo into a purple logo and calls it a Q&A.
Okay.
It calls it a Q&A live instead.
Is this still for the like on the release night?
This is still on the release night. I'm just giving you other mechanics of how you can make it engaging.
Tilks, how would you feel about doing a live for your music?
Not great.
No, because I'll be real.
No, but be real with me. Yeah, why?
Why
though?
the
If I
reason
can
why I
ask.
asked about the anxious question,
I
because
thought that was.
it's because of you.
I was
Like, cause she's like when she's singing, she's in the zone. She doesn't she doesn't care about anyone. She just no. I feel like it's your flow state, similar to me. Just like your passion comes out. But when it comes to engaging with your audience, I haven't seen you do that yet.
Okay, I have a solution for that.
She'll do it through posts, through a photo shoot from a press pack, but in the sense of like live, direct to audience.
So if I may, is the thing that makes you anxious is if you haven't got control of things, but if you can control it by editing the post or deciding which angle you like, you're okay with it?
I don't know, I just think no one's going to engage, so I don't bother. Like, I literally don't bother.
But the only way to guarantee zero is by not trying.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot. I don't know.
You see the remix, of the original tune that you last released. You thought that was banging. I thought it was banging.
Yeah.
That's the only energy people need to see. Like, oh my god, guys, have you heard my remix of like my latest single? What do you think? Like that excitement that you felt when you.
It's feeling gone now, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No, you can always revive it. There is another way to do it. I think if you have mother, partner, best friend to capture you candidly recording when you don't know you're being recorded. So you're in your flow state, you're like in the zone, like singing your heart out, and someone can just creep up on you, have a camera angle that's very wide, very far away, so you don't even realize you're being recorded. That's content you can then chop up and decide, do I want to post it or not? You could just get rid of it, delete the whole file.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do you think that after you've released your music, why do you think the time's passed that you can't further promote it?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like for me, there's a lot of build up to the first day. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited, and then it happens, and like people are posting, and then I'm like, well, that's over now.
You see what it says on my t-shirt? See my t-shirt?
Yeah. I saw that when I came in as well. Yeah, like I'm literally like, okay, well, yesterday was release day, that's it, on to the next thing, kind of thing. I don't know.
So it's fascinating, you guys, because for my clients, I give them a 42-day calendar.
Yeah.
Right, and that 42 days is broken up into 7 days to hype it up before the announcement, 14 days from the announcement until the release date, 14 days from the release until they stop talking about it and they start a challenge, and then run a challenge for 7 days.
I feel like no one's going to engage in challenge.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And I feel like that if I do 14 days of promoting it, they're just going to be like, okay, we've seen this already now.
But that's okay, dude. That's not the fans you want.
True.
They're not the fans. You want the fans who do want that and are waiting for that. Those other people can unfollow.
Yeah.
If they're high school friends, if they're local friends, they're not really showing you love and supporting your dream. Like, if you want something, I think you should post it 1,000 times if you need to, because it's your art. And you shouldn't worry about annoying other people if they're going to unfollow, if they're going to engage. It's not the fan base you want.
True. I might start re-promoting it then, because I literally did one day, 2 days maybe. I did literally post it on the day, and then I was like, yeah, that's it now. And I haven't posted anything since.
Do you mind if I ask how many streams it's on right now?
I don't know. I don't think it did that well, but it got picked up by BBC Radio 1.
Excellent.
But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't add up to it got picked up by them, but then the streams are so low.
So quality music that they saw potential in it.
Yeah.
But maybe the mechanism of promoting wasn't there. So a lot of my clients, I know we're getting off topic slightly for 2 seconds. People say I want to be a global artist, right? I want to be heard around the world. So I'll ask them how many songs is heard around the world? So they say 500,000. So cool, that's a target. How many songs or plays are your most listened to song? So they might say 5,000. So the difference between 5,000 and 500,000 is 100,000 times, if my maths is right, more work. So how much more effort is it to do 100,000 times more streams? It's not 10 times more effort, not 100 times, not 1,000 times. It's not even 100,000 times more effort. It's 1,000,000 times more effort. Because you have to put in more effort to get less results. So 1,000,000 times more effort to go from where you are to where you want to be. So you have to promote it constantly. You have to make it a talking point so that someone in your ethereal world, they know that you have a song out. I know you must have best friends that don't even know you've dropped music. There'll be people in your list of followers who weren't online that day. They don't even know you've dropped a song.
That's so true.
So in your mind, you're not talking about it. You think you've ticked everyone off. If you posted about it 50 times more, still people wouldn't even know you dropped it. So you have permission. I give you permission. You should give yourself permission. Rick gives you permission. Post about it 100 times more. Like, don't ever be shy from pushing your art. It's yours. You're giving it as a gift to people. People who don't want the gift don't have to accept it. But those who do want that gift should receive it.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Yeah. That's off track from the ways to promote a post. Yeah, I get that. But it needs to be said. So then, how do you create a challenge? Right. This is something that people always think, I'll tell people how to do a dance, and then what if nobody does it? The secret is actually to make guaranteed people doing the challenge before you even announce it. I call this a circle of trust, right? So you might text your 5 best homies, and these are your guaranteed people. I'm going to put a song out. I'm going to send you a set of dance moves to do, a transition to do, a thing to do. So it might be walk along in the park, shake your camera, be on a beach, right? I know you're going on holiday next week. I need you to do this for me. Right? You might have something like show up in one outfit, walk into frame, white wall, jump, and as you land, change location and change outfit. You can make the challenge whatever it is you want it to be. You get 5 guaranteed people to do it. 5, 10, 20, 30, doesn't matter. These are your definites. You then ask a circle of maybes, people who you're cool with, but if you do it for them, you owe them a favor. Right? You ask them to do it as well. Then you ask your possiblies, people you're connected to, but that it's a wild card if you ask them to do it. And you say, guys, I'm putting this out on Friday, I'm launching the challenge, I need your submission live on Friday night. So when your challenge goes live, you repost all of them at once, so that people go, where the hell is this sudden fear of missing out that bare people are doing a challenge that I'm not a part of. And once other people have seen strangers doing it, or even famous people, if there's a producer on the record who's quite renowned and he's done the challenge, that gives permission for all of their fans to do it as well.
So you basically pre-up people to
yes.
do the challenge.
Yep.
Is that really how these challenges
work?
I
do it all the time for my clients.
Generally.
As organic as you thought.
No. Yeah. And the beauty of it is, to practice doing the challenge, they have to listen to the record. And when they're listening to the record, it becomes an earworm, and they're listening it on the TikTok sound at first, but then they'll just put it on Spotify. Then they'll be practicing with the full song eventually. So I think those are kind of the main ways to overarchingly promote a single. And so that's what I call campaign mode, when you're ready to release music. But do you ever feel like when you're not in campaign mode, you're like, what the fuck do I post? Do you ever feel that way? You're like, I'm not releasing music, yeah. I don't know what to do.
And also, I guess it's all about how do you make your page look well balanced. For instance, I used to have 2 separate accounts, like my personal page and my artist page. But I realised that when I merge them together, I feel like my audiences were more engaged.
Right.
But then it's like, if you post too many pictures of yourself, they're like, are you an artist? Or if you have it like a meeting with someone who's a creative, they're like, but I looked at your Instagram, it's just pictures of you. And someone actually said that to me once, and I was like, there's definitely poetry stuff on there, but I guess it's the ratio, right? Of how you.
Yeah. So yeah. I call this the birthday effect, right? So when you are celebrating a milestone, like your birthday, like popping the question, like getting married, it's your most liked photo ever, right? Yeah. But when you announce new music, when you launch a business, it's your least liked photo ever, isn't it?
Why is that though? Because I'm like, why is no one? Is it because no one sees it, or is it because I just don't get?
No. So when you're having a birthday, you're happy about something, but you're giving happiness. But when you are putting out music, you are asking for clicks. So you have to completely reverse the way you put out content, that you're celebrating your own release instead of asking people to click play on it. Right? And that's a shift you have to make. So on your birthday, what do? You go and buy some pink balloons, you wear a matching pink outfit, you make sure that the post is curated. But when it's time to announce a single, you just dash up the artwork. So we're lazy in our approach of announcing new music. This is what I call a power image. A power image is when you take a picture holding your artwork. So instead of putting up the artwork, you maybe have an iPad, maybe you print it out on like an A1 piece of paper, you take a photograph holding up the artwork of your next song.
But does it have to be the cover of the thing? Because I did something like that. Let me see if I can find it to show
Sure,
you. To
sure.
see if it's good enough, if it makes the cut. I've got a lot of posts here. I'm gonna have to bear with me. But when I drew up my project, like I had a word board and I wrote the name of the project on the board, like a light board. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen those.
So I used that to promote. That was the first image I think I dropped.
Can I say something with respect, yeah?
Yeah.
The fact that you're asking, is it good enough, does that secretly imply...
This was the image that I used to let people know that I have a project coming.
It looks good.
But do you mean like it needs to be more like an album cover? Because we didn't have hard copies of the
So
project.
why that choice of quote in the caption?
What was the caption?
You said first it's impossible, then it's difficult, then it's done. J. Hudson Taylor.
Because I was feeling like empowered that I finished the project. You know,
But no, I totally agree. And I don't mean this nastily at all, but you see this show more button.
Yeah.
So all your important info is below show more.
Right.
So you need to make sure something like big news, it's finally out into the universe, my brand new song, show more.
That wasn't the release date, that was just to let them know that it's coming soon, but I see what you mean.
You hear what I'm
that
saying?
Could have been first, the quote could
Yep.
have been second, and then more people would have seen straight away what I'm trying to promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done all sorts of madnesses for my clients. So for one dance act called Star One, right? I made them. We took a picture at Adam and Joe. Yeah, Star One. They're my clients right now. Yeah. So we took a picture of Piccadilly Circus and I photoshopped the adverts to have their artwork on it, right? And then he really did DM Sadiq Khan. He said, "Yo, bruv, can we take over Piccadilly Circus?" Obviously, he didn't get answered. So in the caption, he said, "And man aired me, so we manifested it digitally instead."
So cool.
Right? So it was a really clever caption, right? And so it looks like Piccadilly Circus with their artwork on a billboard.
So mad.
Right?
And it looks real.
Yeah, and one day, if God willing ever happens, we'll reflect back to this moment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You should follow Star One.
Yeah.
I love all their remixes.
Yeah, the remixes they were before their time. He was doing this in 2008, before it was a thing.
And the way he documents it and just
So he's a great example. So
I say he, but it's two.
it's two. Joe doesn't ever go on camera. So I just talk about Adam really. So Adam posts on TikTok all the time and he just remixes random songs. So he remixed Ed Sheeran Two Step, right? Ed Sheeran replied to that TikTok and Ed Sheeran was just bopping his head, right? And then they actually made it into an official remix, right? So I actually put a piece of content together. I said, here's my client, Star One. First he made a TikTok, then Ed Sheeran duetted it, and now it's out on Spotify, right? So there's different ways to storytell by slicing and dicing other people's TikToks together to carve your own narrative.
He's doing so much on social media now.
Yes.
I just realised that I've been following him. This is a lot.
He did a song that didn't get enough hype. Loads of engagement. He did a song only made out of vegetables. So all the instrumentation was from like broccolis and chopping and stuff like that. And and then Lethal Bizzle was apparently vegetarian, so we got Lethal Bizzle to bar on top of it. So it's a vegetarian song or something like that, right? So there's so many different ways you can find a story to tell. Do you feel like you've got ideas in your mind that you want to bring to light, but you've not had the confidence to do so?
Maybe. I feel like now with the stuff that, like, the songs we're going to do, like, I can think of how we can do something like that. But with the stuff that I've had before, not really. But I haven't ever really looked at it from, like, need to market and, like, promote it. It was more just get it out. Like,
Right.
And before you would say that you were the top liner doing it for other artists, whereas now the new material is going to be your baby.
So what I would say is the song release day is the starting line, not the finish line. Because until then, only you've heard it, and you might be like, I've heard this 1,000 times, but it is the first time the world hears this for the first time. So you've got to push harder on the gas pedal once it's out rather than before. I think you have 2 phases to every release. You've got the hype building phase and then the traffic building phase. And from what it sounds like, you guys are good at the hype building phase, but maybe you could get better at the traffic building phase. Yeah.
Well, sorry, I know you mentioned it already, but could you repeat the structure of the 14 days?
Sure.
Okay.
So 7 days to hype up your campaign before you announce it. Before you even announce it. Right? Then 14 days pre-marketing the song for hype from the announcement to the release day. I think I should send them the 42 days.
No, I was going to say, because in lockdown you had like a PDF that shows.
Yeah. I'm going to email it to you guys on the house. On the house. I'll send it to you and you circulate it, please. Yeah. I've patterned it into like a 70-page PDF with instructions for what to do every single day. And I'll send you that. And one of the slides is that timeline broken down. Right?
How do you learn all of this information?
I make it up as I go along. Yeah.
That's as he said about TikTok, like he just threw his material out there and just gave it a go, and then he worked out what was the best, So
so I did 750 followers in 4 days. Right? So it was slow and steady, and I was testing different hashtags. And then one of them, it was on 2,000 plays. I was at work, and suddenly it went from 2 to 12,000 in a day, 12 to 20, and 12 to 20 to 32,000 by the time I got home. Right? So it just got picked up. It was a freak accident, but the consistency of my strategy got it there. So 3 TikToks a day, I think 4 or 5 days in, 3 different groups of hashtags. So I did.
How long does it take you to make your TikTok?
An hour per TikTok.
It's quite long.
Yeah, take time.
3 hours a day.
No. So like, for all 3 TikToks, for all 3 an hour total.
Yeah, so like 20 minutes. That's how long it takes me about 20 minutes to make a video.
But I did subtitling. I did the subtitling every word like in a different color. So the green for emphasis, and I take time on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What software are you using?
Premiere Pro. Yeah. There's the auto-generated captions, and then you can save a font stroke background default. So you can just almost make it like a preset.
Yeah.
So when it auto-generates, you just save it into your preset, and then customize the wording.
You don't edit on TikTok?
No, never. I don't use my phone for much.
Helps?
I personally don't like the editing. I don't like the editing software. I like CapCut a lot more. CapCut is an incredible app by TikTok, and it's like iMovie or Premiere Pro, but on a phone.
Yeah.
Really powerful. It's totally free. So I think one thing, my Hira hates this, right? But I actually spend probably an hour a day just researching what's out there in the market, right? So knowing what other trends that other creators are making, to say how can I reverse engineer that for me. So on business TikTok, so to speak, I saw bare people doing these huge subtitles with thick outer outlines and dark shadows underneath. So I thought, let me test it. Instantly I saw a 40% increase in engagement, right? So the things and the decisions you make can affect the outcome of the performance. And so sometimes your content is amazing, but the actual signpost to get people to watch it for longer is busted. So if you get something, the beginning hook is exciting enough, they'll stay for the rest of the content. So what could you do random at the beginning of a video to make people like, what the hell's happening? Let me stay a little bit longer. Otherwise they scroll right past it. So that could be something like, like maybe a water bottle exploding reverses back into the bottle, for example. It's the first thing that came to mind. But at least like, how do you do that? Then they stay and watch the rest of the video. Or maybe it's the mic stand, or like an old vintage mic stand. Maybe it like flies from the bottom to come up vertically. Or anything else you can do.
That's something that's gonna, I get what you mean.
A little bit at the beginning to attract attention, and then you jump into the music.
Right.
Do you ever have those artists you see when they start the video and you see them reaching over to press start button on the phone, then you see 6 seconds of the instrumental and they're waiting to sing, bored. Bored, scrolling right past that. Just cut that off in editing. Just jump straight into the content. Do you know what they call it? Thumb stopping content. Because we're doing this all day long. So to get something to stop and you actually go backwards, right? You to make someone, as quickly as it's happening, freeze and want to watch. So out of all the comedy, out of all the stupid shit we see on TikTok, how can we stand out beyond that?
And
right?
do you feel like as an artist your TikTok has to just be art, or can it be a mixture of things? And when I say mixture, I mean that I post a lot of different content on my TikToks, like cooking videos, maybe me doing poetry, maybe like a holiday reel or something, and then like...
It can definitely be a balance. I think we can do a little exercise if you'd like. So I'd like you, on your phones or paper, whatever, to maybe write down 10 things you love, right? 10 things. So that could be, for me, American football, photography, editing, music, DJing, trainers, like fashion in general. Like that's 7 off the bat. So you write down 5, 10, please.
Rick, don't watch me.
No, Rick, you should do it. You should do it.
I'm literally just making sure that the camera battery doesn't run out. You know what I mean? Look, I'll sit here if it's better. Making out, watching over you, trying to get your secrets of success.
I can't think of that many.
What have you got so far?
I've only got 6. I've got DJing, singing, cooking, makeup, raving and partying and traveling. I don't know.
What do you do with your family at home? What do you do for fun? Like.
Or me time.
Yeah, is it self-care is on it? Is self-care on?
I don't do it. I literally just don't do it.
You're good at it though.
I just don't. No.
But dude, it could be anything. Is it candles? Is it self-care, yoga, meditation?
I don't actually do any of that. I don't know, I like raving.
Okay.
That's like one of my main things. I'm like, yeah, I like that.
So, is it?
Or dancing.
Is it cocktails? Is it dancing?
I do like cocktails as well. But
Yeah.
I think that's all I have there.
But even in dancing, like what styles of dancing do you like?
I don't know, just skanking on the
Okay. I rate that though still. Yeah.
I don't know.
On your list?
Almost one
Okay,
more.
take your time. No rush. No rush.
But these are all things that we could basically make content around.
Bear with me. Yeah.
Because I don't use TikTok at all.
That's okay.
That's okay. I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I have to. Like, this video has to be good.
So that's your list of things you love, yeah?
Yeah.
That's 10. For my clients, I make them do 15 to 20. So it's hard, right? So what are your few, if you don't mind?
Oh, okay. Spoken word poetry, photography, cooking, slash food, documentaries, art, traveling, social media, cocktails, pets, and writing virtual.
Okay. Neither of you have put nail care on there, because both of you clearly care about nails.
I did nails, but then I thought
Okay.
cocktails were more important.
Yeah. Right. And then like things like that. So earrings, for example, like self.
Yes, you love your gold.
Exactly. So you love your bling. You love your bling in general. Yeah. So put these things down. So in your next list, I'd like you to write 10 things about your personality that you want people to know about you. So you're ambitious, you're passionate, you're determined, you're loving, all of these things. Write things about your personality next. So normally like workshop 1 with a client, this is one of the first things we do.
Okay.
We write out their brand values, and after the brand values, we'll group them together from this 3rd list I'm about to give you in a minute.
Right.
And normally I actually use Canva as PowerPoint. So in my I find it so quick and easy because you can align stuff. So like I'll make a slide with list 1, list 2, list 3. Then we make a new duplicate that slide, wipe them all, and we're going to group certain things together from the 3 lists into 5 miniature lists. And these become your content pillars, the things that you post, and everything else that is not on the list is not allowed to be posted. That's kind of ruining the exercise, but
How many did you say?
5, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to push you too hard. Would you mind telling me?
I put that. Is this that like people might not necessarily know?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
am.
yeah, yeah.
I put hyper.
Okay.
Conscious, like quite.
Deep in thought. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chaotic, because I can be a bit chaotic. Quite ditzy, and energetic and motivated.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah, my list is not as good as sounds. I've got I don't know if this counts. Big communicator, outgoing, ambitious, creative, determined, passionate, loving, caring, bubbly, and social butterfly.
Wicked. Okay. That's wicked.
Wait.
So I'd like one third list from you as well now.
Okay.
Things that describe the energy or music or spoken word gives off. So does it give off like a romantic feel? Does it give across a like a hustler feel? Does it give across like a you can achieve anything type of feel? Like, what energy does your music give to the world?
That's a good question.
That's really varied because it depends
Each song is varied, but overarchingly in general. In general.
I don't know.
Thank you for calling me on it.
I'm stuck with this because the music that I have out is quite dark.
Okay.
But I don't want to like stay. Like I like having that, but I also have like I want to go into the
material's
heights.
not that.
No, but I'm like based on what I have. There's only 2 new songs. That
Okay,
I
so
like.
do it from the new music then, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Do it for the positive emotions, none of the negatives.
Okay.
Either.
Okay, I'm just floating an idea. She's savage to me, you see it? Yeah.
That's a great balance.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great balance.
Just call me on my bullshit always. Do you mind sharing?
How many do you think?
5,
Okay.
5, 10, it's all good.
Okay.
Sure.
So I've got conscious, thought-provoking, honest, raw, and heartfelt.
Love that. Love that a lot.
I put inspired, in love, but not like in a romantic way, just like life and everything. Confident, expressive, and woke, but I don't mean like woke in a
Okay, all good.
weird way.
So I think
You know what I mean?
I do. So I think what I'm trying to hint at here is now you've got 3 different lists. You've got a list about things you love, you've got a list about who you are, and you've got a list about what you want your music energy to give off. So you can find common threads between all 3 lists. I'm going to use you as an example. So you said hyper from your personality. You said raving from your loving list you love. You said hyper from your personality list, and you said like energetic from your musical list. So that is a content pillar for you. Music that makes you want to move. Anything that makes you want to move. Being like dancing is your content pillar, overarching. Being hyper, being full of energy. So that is the energy you need to give off through your social media.
And that's not what I do.
Right.
We'll get there, tell us.
Right.
Now I know, I'm so far away from that.
So is it the camera that gives you anxiety when it's pressing?
All of it.
Okay.
Because I want to be authentic, and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to take this video 5 times, because by the 5th I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Fine.
I'm like, I'm not going to have the same energy by the 2nd take. I'm going to be over it.
Can I give you a tip?
Yeah.
Before you record the first take, dial up your personality by 10. Because if you dial it up by 10, with the shyness, I think you'll actually hit the right level. It won't be too extra, it will be the perfect level.
Okay.
Right? But where you are, maybe you're on a minus 10 right now because there's shyness. So if you dial it up by 10, you're not at plus 10, you're at 0.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, I'd say maybe you're critiquing yourself too harshly.
Yeah, definitely.
You think it's not good enough, but actually, if you feel if it's actually achieving the goal, maybe you just have to bite the bullet and go with it. But sometimes it's just that confidence of being like, actually, it is good enough.
Yeah.
No such thing as perfection. There's just good enough to be a post.
Yeah.
You make another post tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after.
Everyone's going to forget about it in
Yeah.
the day anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Of course, yeah.
What do you think is more important? Do you think performing to camera is most important? Do you think reels are most important? Because at the moment I feel like I post a mixture of things. Will be like either pictures of me performing or just pictures of me in general.
Fair. And I say this respectfully. What is self-love is important. Like being confident enough to put yourself out there is amazing, right? What is the value you want to portray when you take a picture of yourself?
Do you mean like just of me performing, or
Yeah, are you showing the clothes? Are you showing your look? Are you showing?
It's more like just showing people that like I'm active, I'm busy, I'm working. Do you know what I mean?
Just a photo of you, what, in a studio?
Like performing, so in the studio, some of the ones that Rick shot recently, me on stage is like my most recent performances. Or I post videos of me performing to an audience, but I don't actually post videos of me speaking to camera, like doing poetry to camera, which I've just realised as you were kind of speaking.
From memory, on your list, in all 3 of your columns, you had conscious in there in some way.
Yeah.
So your content strategy is to share what you're thinking, not what you look like. Right? Your content strategy is to show what emotions are going through your mind, what you're hustling on, while saying that in a conscious way. What you've learnt from it is actually more important than the act of it itself. Right? Because you're a conscious thinker, I think you can dive into your list deeper, but this is just one of the 4 or 5 different common threads between your 3 lists.
Right.
So it's not about what you look like, it's about what you learnt from the experience of doing that thing.
So then what kind of content do you think, like off of what you said, would you put out there in that regards? Would it be like, oh, hey guys, I just had a performance last week and I think, no.
I would say something like, well, it's literally what it could be. Like, sometimes in life, the fear of thinking about the act is harder than the act itself. I got all up in my head this week because I had a performance to do. But what I forgot was I love being on stage. That's where I feel most alive. I'm not going to allow myself to feel afraid of something that I know I love from now on.
Right, so it's more like motivational quotes.
No, it's a reflection. That's genuinely what you might have been feeling, but you said it, and it might not be right for you, but that's right for her.
Rather than posting
that could be a caption. That could be a vlog of the day, and you could voice over it after the fact. There's a lot of different ways to make you could write it, say it, or show it. Essentially.
Lessons learned from your last gig that you had on Friday.
There we go.
What we talked about on the phone.
Yeah.
And lessons learned is a powerful word.
And you think that content should, like, because I mean, with performances, if I post performance content, like of me performing on a stage, like, I don't know, like, how do you balance out content? Like, because I feel like I've never shown anything like that on my page. Like, I've never just said a motivational or reflective quote to camera.
But what's the value of you performing for your audience? Are they congratulating you? Are they encouraging you? Or are they saying, oh, that's nice?
I feel like when I post videos of me performing, it's more for people who maybe didn't get to make the performance to be like, oh, okay, so Dee had a performance, like Dee's been busy, or for them to share it or whatever, or like comment something underneath it, rather than...
Okay, so I would suggest you take very intentional snippets of your performance, so they learn. So they learn a lesson from the words that you said.
Right.
The words that you said are more powerful than what you look like performing.
Yeah, but
so
I just love content.
No, and I get that. But I think it's maybe upping the quality control and saying, I'm gonna post this snippet, but write out the narrative of what you want the audience to feel from that snippet. It's not about you, it's about them. Their experience of consuming it. Right. Not you having the dopamine of getting the likes, engagement and whatnot. That's cool, let's be real. Yeah. But it's about what value they receive from it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like be really conscious of the value that they're going to get from the video.
Okay.
Or the content.
So even if it, for instance, it's like a video of me performing but with that voiceover, is that what you mean more so?
You can do, yeah. I think you're getting hung up on the format of what it looks like, and I'm trying to say that, I say this phrase quite a lot, is that the output of a post, likes, comments, shares, is less important than the input of the message. So if your message is clear and it's about, I don't know, self-love, right? That's what the post is about. It's not, I had a gig last week. Self-love is the message.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.